Yeah.
Bell and Company.
Yes, it is Bell and Company.
It is another episode of Bell and Company. How are you, everybody? This is Mario J. Bell. That was Libby talking there. Hi, Libby.
Hi, sound like an old lady.
Well, that was a weird. I don't know. I did something weird with the open there, but it still sounded the same with the cool groove we had going there. Everybody likes that, and that's actually from a show I used to work on, a TV show.
What show was it?
I probably shouldn't say. I'm gonna get sued.
Oh, okay.
But I was on the radio with the guy. I'll just say it. It was Danny Bonaduna. I let the cat out of the bag. So I haven't been fined for it yet. I actually helped produce that song.
Oh, that's really
cool. And that other person speaking, that's Joe Bronker. Hey, Joe.
Howdy.
And yeah, that's Danny Bonaducci's theme song from his TV show. So I helped edit it, so I figured I had the rights to it. But nobody's said anything yet. You know, the show's been off the air for like 25 years. So I think it's okay. But and I've never seen reruns of it. So anyway. So yeah, so it's Bell and Company, another great episode of Bell and Company, and we have a guest patiently waiting to say hello and start talking to us. And we were just talking about a whole bunch of stuff, and he shared. Everybody knows where we're at now, right?
Yes.
And absolutely. What is your name?
My name's Alex Zarek. Is there a camera supposed to?
Yeah, it's right. We're looking at
this
that
one.
Yeah.
This is Alex Zarek. How you doing?
Hey, Alex. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the show.
You.
Yeah. So again, Joe's been helping get us guests for the last couple of months, which is awesome. And we just talked about off the air.
We don't give the guy enough credit.
I'm giving him credit now. Thank you to Joe.
Thanks.
He's looking for the green stuff, the greenbacks. That's what he needs, right? Everybody needs
Everybody does. Even Libby, the doll.
Even the guests want money, you know. But hey, I'm going to take everybody to dinner. I'm going to start doing that. But anyway, so Joe helped get you, but you guys worked together, right?
Yeah, we. When was the El Famous video? What year? 2016,
16 or 15. Yeah, one or the other.
It might have been 17.
Oh,
Either way,
possibility.
Joe was in a video that I did years ago where he was part of the crowd for a live crowd shot, and he went crazier than everybody there, and I kind of remembered him because of that. And then eventually I ended up casting him in a couple of things that I did a couple years later.
Now the video is from a guest that we had on, right? He was with you.
No,
that's another video.
He hasn't been on yet. Yeah, that was Stubby.
Yeah.
He was on a couple weeks ago.
Okay,
and that was another video that I acted in for him a couple years back, 2 years ago.
Got it. Yeah. I'm trying to keep everybody straight, Joe. We got so many guys that
would be a good guest, though.
I know. I was actually talking to him about it since I work with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you get into this then, but you're more theater stuff too, or all music videos, or what do you mostly do?
Yeah, so mostly it's I shouldn't say mostly, but a good portion of it is music video stuff. And I do photo, video, and design stuff, so it's kind of across multiple mediums, but most of it ends up being in the music world. And then every now and again I'll do something else, like something corporate will come up or something else.
Gotta love corporate videos. I've been in many of those.
Yeah,
I thought when you said something corporate, I was like, band?
somebody's gonna say that. Yeah, sometimes
you directed their videos.
No, I know. Okay. Sometimes a corporate gig will come up, but most of the time it's anything music related, and typically music videos.
Great. Yeah, love that. I love music videos. You know, it's a shame that everybody jokes about it, that the MTV and the VH1s and all of their derivatives don't really play videos anymore.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
It's a different time.
Quite honestly, if you compare his videos to a lot of the MTV stuff, he's got super quality. Oh my gosh,
I think it's better. You can do film and television quality stuff with all the equipment. I mean, you're using the same kind of equipment, you're just maybe not airing it. It's probably going to YouTube. Right. Where do you mostly see the video?
It's unfortunately, I mean, I shouldn't say unfortunately because it's probably helped me in some way, but with all the TikTok stuff, it's like you shoot a beautiful video and then you get to see like a little sliver of it for 10 seconds on TikTok with a bunch of text over it now.
Oh, got it. Right. Everybody's cutting it up to fit their purpose. Well, but they're sharing it.
Yeah, they're sharing it. Yeah, exactly. And
it's just, wait a minute. That's only 2 seconds. Where's my 2-minute video, right?
YouTube is where it'll typically live, but I mean, obviously clips through Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff. Like,
well, now that you're being interviewed on here, you get on all the podcast sites too, but that's audio. So you want to see video. Now, some of them do, like Spotify has video. Now, I don't think we do, but some of the shows do, like Joe Rogan's video.
Yeah. And I like that. I mean, I feel like it does help to see who's talking and see how you're interacting with the guests and stuff. So
I'm wondering for your videos, are they on Spotify?
On the canvases, they are in the 7-second long things that play when you pull up a single. But
okay.
Yeah. So even that, yeah.
Boy, you just gotta have somebody's got to go to your site and look at the whole video. Then.
Yeah. But it is a blessing though to be able to do all this stuff and
they know about you in like 2-second clips, basically.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully, yeah. 2-second clips. Luckily, they're paying for the whole thing, not just 2 seconds.
You are getting some money out of it.
Not from the views, but like to get the video made at least. You know what I mean? Like.
No, they're going to hire you again because they've got, you
Yeah.
know, they see, oh, look, we can keep doing these. And look at how viral they go.
Yeah.
You know,
Usually every band that I've seen him work with, they call him back. You know, like
Great.
pretty much like they
Which is
keep
awesome.
calling him back.
Do you
'cause
do live
he's that
concerts
good.
too?
I do. It's not necessarily my favorite thing to do anymore, but I'll do stuff every now and again. Typically, if it's like a bigger event or something that's more sentimental or special than just like, oh, you know, this band's playing down the street or whatever. If it's like, oh, it's an album release show, or if it's part of like a greater project. Like I'm doing this thing with Hawthorne Heights right now, which is essentially like a live concert thing with like a documentary intertwined between it. So
what's Hawthorne Heights, the band?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you know that song. Slimmer and Black My Eyes.
You are the music guy, but yeah, I've actually heard of them.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Yeah. So when I do live
cool.
stuff, I like to kind of have it be in that way where there's more to it than just like I'm gonna go out and shoot it and make like a recap out of it. Like, I like it to build it into something.
You make a story out of what you're saying.
Something more sentimental and something that you could take something away from rather than it just being a bunch of footage cut together.
Man, there must be a lot of planning going in because now you're talking to the band and the people are involved wherever you're at shooting it. There's a lot of coordination. It's like doing a movie.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it like, I mean, some of the stuff that you've been involved with me in where it's like,
yeah, it was pretty enjoyable.
I had you for like 15 minutes. Like it was in between stuff. And like, it's like the thing that is interesting, I guess, more so about the style of work that I typically like to do is like the DIY mentality of it, where it's like what seems like it probably needed a whole crew or like a bunch of people with a bunch of hands on deck to make it happen. Sometimes it's literally been me and one other person working, sometimes just me also.
Really?
Like on our music video shoot,
like
it was freezing cold.
You still need a lighter, gaffer, mic. Well, I guess you can. I mean, a lot of the equipment's a lot smaller these days,
as long
right?
as you can bring the lights, you don't need somebody to operate them all the time. And
True.
I mean, yeah, for their video, it was just me. It was cold and
really cold.
A couple of lights and the generator that you can start. And
you're more like they do try to do like even I was just reading this about Sylvester Stallone was talking about it. I was reading something on Facebook. He did it without permits, just on the fly. Where they call it, I don't know if they call it guerrilla filmmaking. What do they call it when you just go and just do it with just whatever the environment is,
nothing.
the natural look, you know.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, I mean, a lot of the times, that is the type of stuff we're doing. Just because getting a permit to shoot on like any like sort of public anything
like Chicago streets, for instance, in Illinois, right?
I mean, it's not. That's the thing. Also, like you said, the stuff is the gear is a lot smaller now, so it's like I could have everything I need in a backpack versus back in the day when you needed like a whole production van and somebody to carry the camera and somebody
the owner of this station will remember that because he did television and I did as well. And I remember having the VTR unit, the camera, a little the camera mounted light looked like it was the size of a truck, for crying out loud. It was so big and it was heavy and bright, but not now.
Yeah.
And hot was hot.
Yeah.
Standing next to
now
those. I think the LEDs are a little better, right?
Now it's LEDs that a lot of them are battery powered, so you don't even need to plug them in anymore. And I'm grateful to be doing what I'm doing in like the era that I'm doing it, because I don't know if all of like the bigger kind of like more film production style stuff would have been like my cup of tea back in the day.
I think you would. Well, you probably wouldn't have known any better. If you want to shoot video, you have to do it, or film, you have to do it.
True.
But there were a lot more crew members involved. That's true. Even in whether the interns are paid, the money, right? You got to have some money. Exactly. You got to have a bigger.
So what initially got you into that?
I was just going to ask you, how did you get started doing all this
stuff? So the short version of the long story is
we have 45 minutes.
Yeah, we have 45 minutes. And so basically, from like a young age, I was really into skateboarding, and skateboarding goes hand in hand with filming and shooting and fisheye lenses and all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, obviously, like if you're going to jump off a set of stairs, like you're probably going to want to, film it in case you either get hurt or get the trick, because you're not going to do it again.
I think that's what took off on YouTube when it first started, with a lot of like skateboarding videos.
Yeah, like Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. So a lot of that kind of went into my initial interest in just shooting stuff and editing stuff together. I did some stuff with video games around that time as well, and then eventually I always played
making video games.
No, just like making videos involving video games.
Oh, gotcha.
So like just making like YouTube stuff of I used to be really into it's called old school RuneScape now, but it was called just RuneScape at the time.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
what that and skateboarding are the only reasons I ever started editing video.
Wait, say what it's called again.
RuneScape.
RuneScape. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, it was a big computer game for like
and now it's still around and thriving, but it's called old school now. And
I'm gonna have to check it out.
That's what he's saying. It changed the name.
They changed.
Wait, let me guess. People are watching it on what is it? Stitch, right?
Twitch.
Twitch. Sorry, what am I saying? Stitch. That's another one. Stitcher. That's an app for audio.
Okay,
sorry. So anyway, yeah. Do you do Twitch at all? Videos for Twitch?
No.
We did live Twitch on another show I was on. I'm thinking about getting it back, but then again, you're talking about not a lot of technology. We need another monitor and everything, and get it, and I got to be watching what we're doing.
It's a lot of stuff to keep.
So, but it'd be cool to be on Twitch too. I like Twitch.
Yeah. And then anyway, to continue, like I started playing music.
You weren't on Twitch to continue.
I wasn't on Twitch. And therefore I started playing drums when I was 10. Which has nothing to do
with
YouTube
is what, 15 years old already? So I don't know how old you are, but you must have been really young when you started doing this stuff.
Yeah. Well,
I remember all this stuff.
I started playing drums when I was 10. So like that in association with being interested in, the skateboarding stuff and all that, kind of like the culture with that, everything, all my interests kind of came together and like almost like formed the initial base I had for all the stuff I do now.
That's cool. Awesome.
So like I was just, when you're in a band, even now, it's like, stuff's expensive to get an album made or a video made or a design made. And back then it's like, I mean,
even one or two people.
Yeah, exactly. So
back then it was crazy expensive, right?
Right. And so, when you're in high school, it's like, I just ended up just kind of doing all of our media stuff for all the bands I was in. Or trying to
using the school equipment or your own stuff.
I was in high school at the time, so I didn't have anybody's but my own stuff.
Oh, so. I thought a lot of the high schools had. Well, mine did, surprisingly.
Some high schools are without.
Yeah, I mean, so we might have had stuff, but I think I was more so focused on like it's like the people that were doing stuff at the school weren't necessarily interested in like the metalcore and skateboarding stuff I was doing, so to speak.
So you would like the crowd again. I bounced around a little bit over the years. I was on a station. I still do stuff with them, Rebel Radio. So they're total metalheads and skateboarders and everything else that they do crazy. I don't think a lot of guys work that listen to that station are constantly listening to the station.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But you may know them.
Yeah, and then so like being in bands and then being around bands, and then as I was starting to get into the photo and video stuff, because I did go to college, so like I
was just gonna ask you, how did you go to school to get trained on it, or is it mostly self-taught?
Yeah, so like the transition of like me going from just kind of doing stuff on my own just because of my own hobbies turned into doing stuff for my friends almost as like my first clients in college, where it's like I knew a bunch of people in bands. I liked their music. They didn't have any money, and I didn't have anybody that wanted to pay me to do stuff yet. So it was just a natural thing. And like, I mean, Illinois, as you know, and I mean, every part of Illinois, especially the Chicago area. I went to school in Central Illinois though at ISU, but the music scene, it was just
a music scene.
There was just good bands.
Bloomington.
There was good bands all over the place, and it was just like
Blono is a nice place for it.
It is, yeah. And so it was just like my first clients were my friends, and then after that just started to build like a catalog of work. But it really, like in college, it was just a place, like they say, like you make all your connections there and all this stuff. So to me, it was just like an open range of opportunity as far as like work that I could do, whether I was making money or not making money. And eventually it just turned into people wanting to pay for stuff.
Do you still work with some of those bands that you knew and friends you knew in college?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. And that's what you were saying, like the longevity of things. It's like
Joe was saying
it's special. Yeah. It's like Joe was saying, it's a special thing to be brought back time and time again, and being a part of like the story and legacy of a band.
Exactly. And I've watched a lot of the music videos through the bands like that, like you worked with. What are some more of the bands that you've worked with?
Yeah, say some names.
I mean, are
We'll
we
give him some free
are we
posts.
talking locally or are we talking?
Just
We're
in
talking
general.
all around.
Okay.
How many years have you been doing it now?
I mean, I've been full time on my own since 2018. So it's been 6.5 years.
7 years.
6.5 years ish. And but yeah, I mean, some of the ones that I like to bring up, like there's some of the bigger ones like Broadside and Real Friends and Belmont and stuff like that. Some of the big, and Belmont's the Chicago man for sure.
They
Where
just
did I
played
see them?
yesterday at Bottom Lounge.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I saw him somewhere downtown.
Yeah.
Where's Bottom Lounge again? I forget.
I actually work there as a bouncer
Yeah.
now, so like I was there.
Where is
yesterday.
it?
It's on Lake in is it
Yeah,
West Loop?
yeah, it's on Lake, right under the train tracks.
Yep.
So what is that? The west northwest side of Chicago, I guess.
Yeah,
I forget what
yeah,
that area is called.
it's
Far West Loop. I don't know.
I think it's West Loop. something
Yeah, I
like that.
think so.
Yeah.
Something around.
So
there.
everybody's in Chicago to check him out or check out the bands he's working with at Bottom Lounge.
Yeah, they a lot of them do end up playing there and whatnot. And the thing that I also like too is about the way that my stuff is set up is being able to, in the same breath, do somebody's first video that they've ever done and like be able to offer that experience and then also be considered for like some of the bigger stuff. So it's
That's great.
because to me,
Be their initial film crew, cinematographer, whatever you want to call
just be
it.
a part of the story.
Media guy.
Yeah,
Just part of the story. There
being
you
a
go.
part of the story and this just knowing, because that's the thing is like and you're one of the most passionate people that I've ever met about their own music and getting
Joe
it out
is
there.
for sure.
Joe is, I keep forgetting. I need to.
We're audio and
yeah.
video. Yeah,
I need to mention that I'm not looking at you
Right.
when I'm not looking at you.
that's okay. You're fine.
But yeah, it's like when you're in a band and you're whether you're in your 20s or your 30s or whatever, if you're still doing music and still really trying to do it, it is the thing you care about the most, the thing you want to work on the most, the thing you want to put your hard-earned money into. So like being a part of that with people where it's like this is the most important thing to them in their lives. My work is the most important thing to me in my life.
This
obviously.
is everything you do, man.
Yeah.
It's a passion, is what you're saying.
It's a passion that I'm just grateful to have, and the money aspect of it honestly is a bonus part, but it's just really nice to be a part of, like I said, somebody's story, somebody's trajectory as a band, whether they break up in a year or they go on to get bigger or they whatever. It's like just being able to say that at some point or another, something I did helped or was involved with something that I believe in or something that I think is cool, I think is one of the best
That's
parts.
pretty awesome.
People still rave about the Takeoff video, even though we disbanded.
yeah.
Like, even though that was a horrible time, it was a great time
Dude.
too.
That was a good time.
You're not just in Chicago then, right? You travel around or you're mostly in Chicago?
I travel around, but I'd say it's probably like 70-30. 70% of my stuff is here and 30% is elsewhere.
Okay.
And
So you've done some bands like in LA or
yeah, I've done a lot
Boston
of
or
stuff
something,
in
Texas.
I've done a lot of stuff in California,
Florida, right? Too.
Florida, a lot of stuff in Pennsylvania. Like the hot spots that I eventually like ended up like I had a streak for a couple of years where I was doing a bunch of stuff in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is really random, but
It's
kind of like I was in touch with somebody there and I kind of got introduced to their scene there, and it was just like it was a situation where it was like I was just hopping on a plane and I would go and I would shoot I would stay for like a week and shoot like 4 or 5 videos.
The band was from there, or
The bands, multiple bands were from there, and so
I just don't think of Erie. I think of like
that's what I'm saying,
the Bronx or something, or somewhere outside of New York.
Yeah. I mean, and like
somewhere near Chicago, LA, Florida, Miami.
Yeah,
PA's got a pretty good metalcore
do.
scene though.
Yeah. And honestly, like with how things are now too, there is some sort of a scene no matter where you go, and there's no matter how obscure a place is, there's definitely bands from there. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess you could make the scene. You're making the videos and stuff. You could stage the events and have the bars open for the thing and have people, or you don't have an audience, do you? It's probably a closed set, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not trying to.
Sometimes people just end up gathering around just because they
you
hear a
mentioned
loud
you do
noise.
some quote unquote guerrilla
Oh, yeah.
shooting, so maybe that's when the audiences are there, right?
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is a lot of it is very, like I said, DIY and run and gun in general, whether or not we're allowed to be somewhere or we're not. It's just the nature of, there isn't a whole lot of time between, like I got to switch lenses or I got to change over this. It's like because of the nature of like the type of gear and stuff it is, it's like the videos and scenes can be changed out and executed really quick versus back in the day. Like we said, it's like an adjustment, switching a lens or doing anything like that was like a task that took time back then.
Well, now, I mean, I've seen people shoot film. My friend John shot a film. It was like experimental on the iPhone 10 or 11 or whatever.
That new 28 Days Later sequel is shot exclusively.
I saw that.
What I heard.
saw that.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I just feel like you can't get the depth of field and the width of the shot.
That's what I'm curious about too. Because like I have a 14 Pro and it's awesome, and I'll use it.
Can you see yourself shooting a video with it? Honestly,
not a full
right?
video, but like the 16 though. I mean, they keep making them better. So like that's the thing is like I don't think it's ever gonna turn into a point where an iPhone is gonna be like the substitute for like a cinema camera.
I still think the cinema cameras shooting for TV, they have a better, maybe the ones we use are a little more compact, but they have a bigger lens. They have, like you were talking about, they have a bigger back. They have more memory on them.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
and like the phone thing.
You don't do dailies, do you, with videos too? I mean, you don't have to do that anymore, right?
No.
You could just rewind it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
it's all on a memory card.
Frame,
it's on a memory card, right?
Yeah.
So things are a lot more streamlined as far as like the data collection and all that stuff goes, and so I mean I'll hop on a plane with a backpack and a carry-on and have everything that I need more or less.
No kidding.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
So how surreal was it for you to go teach like a guest lecture at your college?
Oh, I forgot. I didn't know you knew about that.
Oh yeah, I've followed you, man. I love
He-
keeping up with you, man.
He tells me bits and pieces, so he wants to, make sure that we get a lot of stuff mentioned.
That's a good question. That was a good question. It was like 2 years ago, like now. So it was like October is the homecoming weekend, and ISU does this thing where they have like an alumni celebration essentially, and each program or each major brings back like one alumni honoree each year.
Oh, no kidding.
To go to this banquet, and then you have the option of like presenting to the current class and all this stuff. So I think
the banquet honors you as a graduate that does something in the industry, or just what is it for?
Exactly. So like it was one big banquet, and so there was like the art section and the science section and the music. So it was like one person from each of the majors or the major departments that was selected each year, and then you go to the thing, they give you like just different cool alumni stuff. You like learn about what's happening in the college, all the stuff, and then you break off, and then most people will have a thing where essentially you have an hour or whatever to talk to the current student body of the given major. So 2 years ago they asked me to come back, and it was the thing that was crazy to me.
Pretty cool.
To your point is that I was like, it's 2 years ago. I'm 30 now, so it's 28. It's like some of those people, especially the grad students, were like not that much younger than me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's like it was crazy, like thinking about that, and like it almost didn't feel like, not like it didn't feel appropriate, but it was just interesting. I'm like, I don't feel like
they're not students to you.
I'm
like
that far removed from
college,
this yet. Yeah. And but it was surreal, and going back to the whole thing, it made me kind of look at my whole I guess career and journey doing this stuff in a different way, where tracing it back to why was I ever interested in this? That's when I realized I was like, yeah, like the skateboarding and the RuneScape and all that stuff is really where it all started, where my interest started. And that was just me being 13 and being into the stuff I was into. And then just seeing like different parts of my life kind of stitched together as I was, because the speech is like how you got to where you are and where you're going, and what tools you have to offer the student body. Like, what do you wish somebody told you when you were in college?
They had a like a motivational kind of thing almost.
Yeah.
I got you.
So yeah, because it was like I didn't want to just get up there and be like, hey, look at this is the work I've done. Like I'll answer. Like it was like I want this to be something that if I was sitting there, I would have benefited from when I was a junior or senior thinking about what was next. So, but yeah, to your point, it was surreal, and it was a huge honor, and it made me think about everything in a very sentimental kind of like emotional way.
You know how many students there are, and they pick you out of so many. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a smaller program, but regardless, it was a huge honor, and also just connecting with my teachers again too, because all the staff was the same pretty much.
I
That's
want to
awesome.
do this at least at my high school. At my I went to 2 colleges.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they'll invite me. They're bigger and they really didn't know me anyway.
Right.
But my high school does.
Right.
And it was a pretty well-known high school in Oak Park, Illinois.
yeah.
And my friend Mick, who was a producer in LA, he got to speak at the graduation. I'm like, damn, I want to do that.
At the graduation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
so,
that's
it was the
big time.
commencement speaker.
That's big time.
for
I don't
high
know if I
school,
could do
not
that.
college.
I don't know if I could do a commencement speech.
You
but-
know, well,
Yeah,
it's
it'd
kind
be
of
tough
similar
for
to what
me.
you're talking about, though. I mean, same kind of
yeah, but then you
scenario.
gotta have like there's like a hook that you get them with, and then it's like it starts where it ends and ends where it starts and all this stuff. Like, but I mean, if I would definitely do it if I was asked. I don't know if I'll get asked.
So
to do
what
that,
do you
but
think would be more fun then, doing what you did or doing the commencement at high school?
doing what I did for sure.
Okay.
Because I could see the perception of what the future was to the students changing as I was saying this stuff.
I was going to say they're already getting ready to do something.
Yeah.
They're getting out of their school days.
And I
you
could
know,
tell that
versus
they-
high school, you don't know what you're going to do.
I could tell a lot of them were kind of worried too. It was just like, and it's like I felt bad for them. It was just
I
like,
got to make money in this career now. What am I going to do?
yeah, and so, but then some of them, it was just like it was like in college, I was always the one that was going like the extra mile or whatever in everything.
Well, there's a lot of money to be made in the music videos and film industry, TV.
Yeah.
But not everybody does it.
Right.
Same thing with radio broadcasts. I mean, there's guys making millions of dollars a
Yeah.
year. There's guys making $50,000 a year. So
Yeah, exactly.
so
And
there's a lot of potential.
exactly. And to me, going full time as a freelancer or sole proprietor or whatever wasn't ever really the actual plan, but it just worked out that way. Like I had a job out of college that was doing like photo and video work for a tech company in Chicago, and I ended up getting. I mean, it was cool, and it was like, oh, I have a job out of college or whatever. But the money just wasn't like even if I was making, I was making like so little money and commuting to the city that I felt like I was like spending money to go work in the city because
It feels like it, doesn't it? I've worked in the city many times and gone, why am I doing this? I'm making $800 a week and I'm paying $300 to go drive there.
right. Or the Metro. Yeah, the Metro.
Metro
weekend
wasn't
pass.
as bad.
Yeah,
That's for people who aren't from Chicago. That's
right.
our rail system.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, buses and rail, isn't it? And L's.
Yeah.
don't know what an L is.
and the
Elevated
divvy
train.
and the bikes and all the scooters and
Yeah,
all that
I
stuff.
guess
now.
you could include Divvy in that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are
But
all
anyway.
included. I didn't know that.
Divvy. One of them is
It's a city thing.
yeah.
That's cool. I
One of
didn't know
them
that was
is
part of it.
bought by Uber or
It might have been.
one of the others, but yeah. So there's but
It was a lot of money to work in the city.
yeah.
And I was working part-time at
Yeah.
a radio station. At night, at least. So I didn't have a lot of traffic. But
Yeah.
trying to find places to park even at night
No, yeah.
is like, God,
Brutal.
what am I doing?
Right.
I hear you. I feel for you. And I think a lot of people do. You got to make like $100,000 a year to work in Chicago and live in Chicago, I think.
Right. That's why I live
maybe
in the
that's my
suburbs.
opinion. Maybe I'm way off on that.
I'm a
but
suburb boy for life.
yeah.
I'll go to the city to work, but I'll live in the suburbs forever.
I mean, I'm actually from Northwest Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, small town. Well, small. I mean, it was big, but a lot of land, maybe not a lot of people. And coming to Chicago was like, oh my God, what are we doing here?
Is that like a
You know,
Whiting area or something like that?
No, I was actually in a town called Lowell, Indiana,
Lowell.
Lake County, out in the middle of nowhere.
I actually had a friend from Lowell. He was on my
Way south.
improv team.
Was I in the
Alabama.
right ballpark? Is that like
Whiting is right by the lake. I was down in the middle of
That's not
nowhere.
Northwest.
It
Indiana?
is.
Okay.
Whiting is just farther north.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm more north central Indiana
Okay.
almost because I was
Gotcha.
down by where the Kankakee River crosses.
If you
into
would have said
Illinois.
that, then we wouldn't be
Yeah,
confused.
no, but yeah, sorry. Pardon me. Most people don't have a clue anyway. Where
Yeah.
in the hell it
I
is.
know about Crown Point.
Yeah, it's just south of Crown Point.
I
about 10
know all
minutes.
about Crown Point. So there
Crown
you go.
Point's got a great music scene. Actually, I never plug it, but my cousin has Martoni's Bar in Crown Point. And, but he
what was it called?
doesn't do bands.
What was it called?
Martoni's, Martony.
Was it on the square?
It's right on the square.
Oh, the square
They
is
got
so
married
nice.
in the courthouse.
I'll have to give it a look.
That's so
So,
cool.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
and then they walk across to the bar to have the party.
Oh.
And then they had another party too, but that was the main party. But yeah, so being in Chicago is it's a big difference.
Mhm.
I guess I'm looking at combines and hay balers and stuff. And I come to Chicago, And I'm looking up. I'm like, where is that studio at again? And it was cool. It was in the Hancock Tower, which
That
I
is
don't even
cool.
know what they call it now.
I don't know what they call it either.
I think
Wait,
you
they changed the name of that thing?
Yeah, somebody
Oh.
bought that one. Same
a
thing
long
with the
time ago,
Sears,
right?
the Prudential. They're all like
Prudential Plaza.
whatever it is now. I don't know.
It's still the Sears Tower.
I think
to
the
me.
NBC building is
always,
still
of course.
whatever they called it. I don't even know what they called that one. But anyway, so yeah, it was a culture shock.
Yeah.
But do I want to live down there? No.
No,
I don't.
definitely not.
I like visiting. I definitely will go to.
Yeah.
I'll go to Bottom Lounge.
Yeah.
Will I live over there? No, hell no.
Not a
Hell no.
snowball's chance in hell.
No offense to the Chicago people. And a lot of my friends from high school were it was no big deal for them to take the bus. I'm like, it was a big deal for me that mom wasn't driving me everywhere.
Right.
Because out in the country, if I missed a school bus, I better get my mom to drive me,
Right.
or the neighbor in the hay baler, because there's no transportation. But I hear you on living in Chicago, and it's got to be worth it. But
So what was your favorite storyline to ever create?
Favorite storyline?
Yeah.
Oh,
If you could say like if you can't really like place it on one, top two.
does Chicago influence you?
Yeah. The Chicago influences me. The suburbs influence me. The Midwest influences me.
Well, don't the bands tell you kind of what to say too, or do in the scenes?
He gets a lot of freedom.
Yeah, I get a lot of freedom a lot of the time, which is nice. And then when I don't, it is nice. It's cool. There's different aspects of it. It's like if somebody has an idea, then the goal is to execute their vision better than they could have ever imagined it. Or if it's my idea, then it's thinking of something and seeing it through and having an idea that turns into a thing that exists forever.
I apologize. I've seen a video Joe was telling me about, but I want to know more like you got him skateboarding or something, doing wild scenes, like, special effects stuff or what?
There's that. I mean, there's flying drones everywhere.
Did you have the ocean one?
Yeah, that was one of the ones I was going to bring up. Like,
bring it up.
One of my favorite ones, for a lot of reasons, was one that I did with Broadside last year, which is the ocean one, as Joe called it.
Yeah, I was actually going to say Broadside, but I just figured I'd say the ocean.
The band
one.
is Broadside. You did the video.
He knew about the college thing. So,
what's the song called?
It's called Blue. Bleu.
Okay.
And
that's why he's calling it the ocean. There you go.
This guy. So, anyway, the band, like, it was cool for a lot of reasons, but just to keep it short, basically, like, it was a really emotional kind of personal topic for the singer, and like we wanted to do something that portrayed like the time period in his life. He had a loved one that was dealing with cancer and thought he was going to lose her, and eventually did it. Like, she got better, so it ended up being a good thing. But just him thinking that he was going to lose this person essentially, and the song clearly, like, that's clearly what it was about. And he was like, all I know is that at the end of this video, I want to be standing like in the waves in the ocean. That's the only idea I have.
Some kind of metaphor for what it,
fill it in. Yeah. Fill it in with whatever else you want. I just know I want that. So I was like, okay, cool. Like and then the budget.
What was the symbolism there?
It was just like, the lyrics even say it too. It's like, the waves will keep crashing, like they always do, but forever without you, is a different shade of blue, basically. Is what it is.
Okay. That makes total sense.
Yeah. And, he talks about like waking up next to the ocean and, it's just a very like somber, like sad kind of thing. And so
it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful
like
video.
a good video to see.
Strikingly beautiful. Oh
now, besides the TikTok versions, how long are most of your videos? Like this video, Blue, how long is that?
And this video is it's probably like 3 or 4 minutes. It's still like just the length of the song, but
not the Thriller length.
Right. But I have done some stuff where it is a little bit more extended like that.
Okay.
Which
that one was
fun.
like 25 minutes or something.
Right. Yeah. I haven't done anything like that, but for music videos anyway. But
done like 8-10 minute ones. Like,
I've done I've done some where the narrative is added that, and then sometimes there's just a prog band with a 10-minute long song.
Oh, geez.
You know what I mean? So, and even your guys' song was like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, it was about 5.
And
I can see a progressive band doing a long song like that, I guess.
Yep. I just shot some of that stuff the other night. Just the songs are long, but it's cool. It's like the musicianship is.
The joke is with the DJs, they play like Anagata because they got to go to the bathroom for 30. But I forget the video for that. I think that's a live, concert version of it. The one that I've seen.
Pretty sure it is
because it's video for sure.
Yeah. It's definitely an old song.
So like
a lot of them play like just mostly live back then.
That's what I mean. It's like just a recording of something live. But you do that sometimes, right?
Yeah.
You said you did those events.
Yeah, and so like like I said,
Make it look a little retro there, you know.
Yeah, and but yeah, the cool thing about the Broadside video, going back to that, is like I know that, and I didn't want to like name names or whatever as far as like, you know, specifically the singer situation, but the person that he was singing about actually was on set with us that night at the beach.
That's powerful.
The song that was about her.
Wow.
And she was I mean, like I said, it's DIY. She was helping hold some of the lights, like standing in the water with us.
Okay. So
that's a vision of how DIY
his inspiration
we're talking.
was right in the video itself.
Yeah. The band, like the guitarist, like you'll in the whole ending of that video it's like it's basically him like in at Daytona Beach in the ocean.
And that's the song Blue by the band again. Broadside. And we're talking with
Alex Zarek.
I don't want to say his last name wrong. Alex Zarek.
Yeah.
And what an interesting story. I mean, it really is. You kind of alluded to this a little earlier.
Yeah.
People just maybe tune in now. Of course, there is the podcast. They can see the whole thing.
Yeah.
But, and hear it too.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, you really get connected with your songs, your bands.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like.
I mean, I can't handle it any other way. Like, even if I think, oh, like if I go into a video, not necessarily like, oh, I don't care about this project or whatever. It's like if I go into a video and I don't feel super attached to the song, or it's not necessarily my thing, it eventually becomes like I end up caring about it just as much as everything else.
So if you have a day like, I mean, there have been days I haven't been feeling well to be here, even on the air, but do you maybe cut it off and just not do it because you don't feel the passion of it, or no, where you're actually shooting it? Have you had days where you just didn't feel it? So you're like, you know what? We'll take 5 or whatever, or we'll do it tomorrow. Probably not though.
Not
so you got a tight schedule, right?
Right. The closest thing to that will be like if I know that there's no tight deadline on something and somebody's local. It's like, hey man, it's getting late. Like we could finish this another day. I'd prefer to finish it now, but if everybody's feeling gassed, let's just do it today.
Yeah.
And then we're done. But sometimes it is just like things go too long, or you have a location that you only have for a certain amount of time and you just need more time. Some of the stuff.
Well, I'm referring to like you're passionate about. Like, you get tired,
passion.
Maybe you're like, just to be over with the
passion,
day. You know,
the passion, whether or not I'm feeling physically 100%, the passion is something that always comes.
You work through it.
It always is there, no matter how much. I mean, I had a video with a band from Chicago, but has become a national band, Action Adventure, and I thought
I've known them.
Yeah,
I know of them.
Yeah,
I've known them. I know of them.
They're awesome, and it's kind of in that same conversation as far as the genres go. But we had a video with them where it was a crazy video and it was really cool, but like I was really sick, like to the point where I knew it wasn't COVID. I tested a bunch of times, but it was like just body aches, can't get out of bed, like I'm so cold, but then sweating at the same time.
Ooh, that's a rough one.
It's like
bad flu.
Yeah, something like that. So, you know, and we have this video and like they're about to leave on a tour, and it's like the song has to come out before they get back from the tour, so we can't push the shoot day back. So to me, it was just like, okay, we have to do this. And like they're not going to find somebody 12 hours before the shoot to shoot this video. And the video ended up being a thing where we got on set at 2 a.m. and then I was home 2 p.m. and then I was home the next day at 7 a.m. So it went all the way like through the night.
So what were you taking?
NyQuil.
Oh, some NyQuil.
I was on the quill.
So you're falling asleep every once in a while.
I love the quill. When it comes to that,
I was on the quill, but it was DayQuil, not NyQuil.
Gotcha.
It was the quill nonetheless. Come on.
Weak stuff.
They both have a lot of strong, but the point is, you just, no matter what, you just know it has to be done. You love what you're doing. You get it done is basically the bottom line.
Knowing that eventually pushing through it and getting and really working through the current discomfort to know that, oh, if I do this and we just persevere through it, I'm going to sit down with this footage later and be stoked that we actually went through with it, rather than me being sick. Oh, I got to take a break. Like, it's just like, there isn't a part of me that's like that.
You know where I hear a lot of songs and know some of these bands I wish I saw the blue or heard the blue song, is a lot of people use the music behind their reel. So it's not the video that you're making.
Right.
It's the band just being used. So, you know,
Yeah.
I see a lot of bands that way. Do you have anything to do with those? Do you produce those kind of reels that maybe don't have a video for the band, but it's included in somebody else's like crazy, you know, shoot on TikTok or whatever?
Not. I mean, the thing is, there might be some. I'm not really a TikTok user.
I'm just saying social media in general, like a YouTube but it isn't the music video, because that's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily see your videos, but I've heard the band before because they're playing the music. With those other crazy reels, you know.
Right. And like the thing with the reels too is like it's like sometimes it doesn't feel like there's a rhyme or reason to like what comes through on your page or like what is filtered to you. So it's like I think YouTube, I've realized recently too, like I'll get suggestions for a bunch of videos that have like 20 views. It's just like random videos that like by some stroke of luck have shown up in my feed, but they're like so random.
But they're not bands music. They're just
real random stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like that's what my algorithm has looked like lately. And
so how does your videos? What I'm getting at is I'm wondering how they find your videos from these bands. What if they don't know the name of the band? How do they see the video?
So I mean, the nice thing about, and you'll know this too, like when you're in a band, Joe. I'm pointing for our listeners at home.
Video,
for our listeners at home, I'm pointing to my right where Joe is.
Yes.
And when you are in when you're in a band, and you're doing this stuff and you're really passionate about it and stuff, obviously your friends in bands, you're going to tell about who you're working with. Oh, who recorded your song? Oh, that sounds great. Who did your video? It looks great. Who took your photos? It's like it's a word of mouth thing to the point where it really does snowball. Like even like back in the day, like that was like the beginning of it kind of for me, the L Famous stuff. Shout out to Kevin.
Yeah.
And Stubby, actually, who you guys talked to the other day.
We had
both of those guys have really Stubby Pondav of Lucky Boys Confusion and Kevin Singleton, now of Night Spice, formerly of L Famous and Inept and the Action Blast, and his boss at Bottom Lounge.
3 different bands, 4 bands.
And his
I work
boss
for him at
Bottom
Bottom Lounge.
Okay.
He works for him now, but those two.
Oh, sorry, not a band, a bar.
Yeah.
He runs production there.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. So those guys have, for as long as I've known them, have really put on for me where people look to those guys. Oh, like what should I do? Who should I go with for this? And it's like having your name in people like those people's mouths where like their say and like their opinion actually like is valued by other people, where it's like, oh, like if so-and-so trusts this guy for their video, then I'm going to trust them too.
So you're not necessarily in like the film festivals for videos or something. No. They don't have like a like a feature of all the bands best of videos.
They
something
don't.
like
well,
that.
They do, but like they're like almost like pay to play things where it's like you have to pay to submit, and then it's like fake.
Got it.
And I didn't know that at first. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. But then I was like, yeah, this is like, why am I paying to do this?
That's good.
Have you ever considered production for or like creating a film, like a short film or a movie?
If I didn't have to do like that would be a scenario where I wouldn't want to do it in like a DIY fashion. Like I wouldn't want to be having to do, or at least whether it's me or a group of 2 people or 3 people, I wouldn't want it to be a thing where like we're having to wear all these hats. And like when we're dealing with like with music videos, you're not dealing with audio really ever. It's like
no, because they edit it in.
Yeah, it's so. It's
what do they call that?
Studio
Foley editing or whatever. When you edit the sound in.
Foley work
for film.
But you're thinking of Foley work, but for me, it's literally just like you just drop the studio version of the song in, and then the clips are synced to it. But it's like if we're talking about a film or production, there
is Foley work,
the sound and Foley work and locations and slate and all this stuff in a way that with a music video you just don't have. And so like I wouldn't be against directing something or being a part of something bigger, but it wouldn't be a thing where I would want to wear the same hats that I wear for what I typically do.
So you're doing this like all the time, 40 hours, 50 hours, whatever it is. Yeah. This isn't like you have a day job.
No. Yeah, I'm completely freelance, and most of my days are editing days.
That's wonderful. I wanted to be full time. Actually, I was for a while, but again, it felt like part time.
Yeah.
For
The pay was
Bonaduce.
part time.
Bonaducci.
Yeah, no, actually, that was overnight. With the reason I know, we told that story. The reason I was involved with the Danny Bonaducci show because I was the overnight show with Harry and Spike on WLUP. The Loop FM was no longer around.
That's awesome.
Can't believe it's
That's
no
cool.
longer around. But anyway, back to the story. And all of the producers for the morning shows were coming in at 4 a.m. I'm getting ready to leave at 5:30. They're coming in, so we overlapped and we would work on stuff together.
That's really
I
cool.
was also like the guy that would get the coffee for everybody ready, believe it or not. Everybody hears that stereotype.
Of course.
That's a real thing. Get the little coffee and donut table ready.
Yeah.
So I did. Because one of the guys, I'll just say his name, Jonathan Brammeyer, would just run right past everybody and go into his little studio with the curtains. I guess he didn't
Kind of like me, a recluse weirdo.
Didn't want to be seen. I don't know if you noticed. Libby's right there. And the
Yeah.
voice of Libby's behind Libby over there. Because Libby is,
I didn't realize there was two of you guys over there.
she's living in Libby, right? The doll. But
That's pretty
anyway,
funny.
it was very strange. But I did interact with all of them together. And that's how the Bonaducci thing came up. I didn't actually meet Danny maybe once or twice because he was always late. I don't know how he made it on the air on time, but and then they would interact between the Kevin Matthews show and Danny would interact. But I had already left by that time. But in the morning, the producers and the editors and getting stuff ready, like doing the music for that show, that was all done. When nobody was really there, so you had time. Because I don't know when you do editing, we were doing it kind of on the fly.
Right.
If
You
you didn't
have a little more time, I'm sure.
If you didn't think you were gonna get sued back then at the beginning, after calling him late all the time, you might get sued now.
Yeah, well, I hope not. I mean, don't you only get sued if you're lying? I mean, Danny's gonna probably argue it, and I wish him the best. He's had some issues. He's not on the air anymore.
Oh, that's
He was
sad.
on forever. He went to Seattle.
You might have
wherever
to
he
have
went.
him on.
Yeah, well, I'm working on that
Yeah.
through my other producer friends. But I'll tell you, it's hard to get people's schedule, especially we're doing this live on a Sunday night for people who don't know, because it does air all the time afterwards, right?
Thanks for coming.
But getting them here in the
Oh, no,
studio
Sunday
live,
night's
thank
great.
you for coming, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a tough time for some
Yeah.
people. But, I might get them after an event or something in
Oh, yeah.
Chicago.
No,
because I
this
like
is
them
great.
here. I like
This-
them live in the studio, not on the phone.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, too, this is, like I said, I used to go to an orthodontist that literally was basically in this building. And
Isn't that crazy?
I live 15 minutes from here now and used to live probably even less than that where I grew up. So
You lived in the building of another radio station I worked at, right?
more or
No,
less.
across the
No,
street.
no, but I think my parents are watching. The crazy thing is knowing about the only radio. Well, was it the only radio station in Berkeley?
It was the
Probably.
only radio station in that whole area.
Yeah,
In
and
the suburbs. It was technically registered to
yeah.
Elmer.
Like I could walk where you worked from my house.
Isn't
as a
that
kid,
crazy?
Which is
Small
wild.
world.
So
Maybe I saw you and didn't even realize
yeah.
it. Did you have the beard?
when I
By
was
the way,
8,
Libby,
yeah.
I got somebody commenting on my Facebook that you look like a producer friend that worked with another station we were just at.
Do I?
His name is
Should we bring him up?
We call him Sonar.
Oh, really?
And
Am
he
I
looks
Sonar?
you
Yeah,
look a
he
lot like him.
does.
I look like him.
What's up, Sonar?
So
Bring him up.
yeah, so anyway, he's on another. He actually
I
runs
didn't
the
even
station.
notice that until you said
Yeah.
so. Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Maybe I
Oh,
should
people
run
on
the station.
Facebook are
Maybe I
commenting.
should start running it if I look enough like. that.
Well, I mean, if you want to run a station with them, that's a lot of work. I think being an editor and freelance and doing bands is a lot more fun. I've been behind the scenes, as
I
I
agree.
told you. That's why I feel like I can play the song because I helped produce it
Mhm.
in the middle of the night. But again, for me, I don't know when you're editing. To me, that was like normal time. I somehow adjusted to. I was getting up at 3 p.m. and working till 6 the next day.
Yeah.
I don't know when do you shoot and edit?
So the interesting thing and the difference also between the two is like a lot of your stuff probably felt a little bit more like it was like needed to be done more immediately.
It was more immediate,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because if it's radio stuff, like
It's that day or
it's
the
that
day
day,
next
it's news
day.
or whatever, yeah, or whatever. So for this, unless it's like an event, which like I said, I don't do as many event things anymore, but I'm still a firm believer in if I'm if I'm photographing a concert or whatever, it's like the band is getting the photos that night so they can post in the morning.
So you're used to the midnight oil.
Yeah. But when it comes to like a music video, unless it's a thing where it's like, yo, this has to come out Friday and we need it by Wednesday and it's Monday right now, like then an all-nighter type of situation for editing might come into play. But usually the shooting schedule allows for as much time within reason of the shoot date to finish it. I mean, but I feel like I had a cut of your video to you guys within a couple days.
Yeah,
because it was so.
What
it
was
was
the
ours was
again,
just
say it
simple.
again?
No, ours was Primal Moon's Take Off.
It was
Oh,
just-
you're talking about your old
Yeah.
man. I thought you were in another video. What's the other
so
one
he
you-
was in a couple of videos. Well, with your Prip Hat, was it last week you had to be on?
a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
So he was in he acted as a police officer or FBI guy, whatever, in one of the videos that we did.
I remember. I thought he looked kind of like he was a prisoner or something.
Yeah.
Because of the buzzed head.
The buzz head, yeah.
Yeah.
And the outfit he had on.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, buddy.
Knocking my
I'm
mic
not
off
used
there.
to all this stuff.
Yeah, yours is all connected, right? Your rig is probably all in one piece. You don't have the external like boom mic, do you?
I do like I don't. Well, I have an on camera like shotgun mic, but I like these little cameras you guys got going on.
Yeah, these are perfect for web stuff.
I might have to see what these are all about. I don't know.
You
much
could
about
talk
this.
to the owner, but I don't. I mean, it's got a pretty wide view. I don't know how good you can zoom them though. I haven't played with them, so
I mean, it looks cool up there.
it's like one shot.
Yeah,
I
it works
think.
well.
But
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt though. Sorry. So you're talking about the videos that you were doing. Go ahead.
Yeah. Where were we going?
Well, basically, our video was just kind of like
Oh,
a
talking about
simple
editing.
one. It
Talking
was
about the
just
editing
a
of it.
straight
Yeah,
run
yeah.
through.
So the thing about his thing is his music video was like the perfect example of something that is like it's just such a it's a simple process where it's like, okay, we had a location, it was like this barn, this muddy barn, but it was really cool. It was like it was like probably condemned, right? Like
You didn't need a permit to shoot
and
there.
then we had all those doors too.
Yeah,
that were
yes,
fun, like-
You didn't need a permit, I bet.
we didn't. It was on somebody that you
Heather,
knew.
yeah.
Heather from a cover band or something that you knew.
Yep.
She let us borrow. We shot in a barn at her farm. I don't even. It was in the most random.
I think it was Morris
It
or
was-
something. Or no, was it?
It
No,
was
not
way
Morris.
down there.
It was. I don't even know if I had heard of the town. It was far.
Not
though.
by
Oh,
ISU.
It,
Not
Not
by
that
ISU.
far.
it was on the way to Olivet. I forget what
Okay.
the name of the town is.
That's Kankakee or something.
No, it's on the way. It's like what? It starts with a W. What?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Waterloo. No, that's in Iowa.
No, I'm done.
Yeah.
I worked in
Um,
Waterloo on radio.
but the that video is like
Anyway, you shot it in a barn.
It shot it in a barn, and we needed a generator because there was no electricity outside and it was cold. But other than that, couple of lights, the band was there, we shot it, and it's the playthrough video. So it's like essentially,
Talk
every
about that
every
playthrough video.
playthrough video, performance videos, as a lot of people will call it. Basically, it's the band playing. There's no additional concept typically. Maybe some B-roll or some stuff spliced in, but basically the band sets up and you have a PA system. Maybe sometimes you have an in-ear rig for the drummer, but basically they're playing along to the
What
song.
would B-roll be? Just a shot of the drummers. I'm not like them
the-
doing a scene or something.
Yeah, like
And for people who know B-roll, it's like the extra when you
Yeah.
shoot, you go to
the
another
other
scene or
stuff.
something.
Yeah, the
Our
other
B-roll was the microphone stand.
Yeah. Oh my god!
And,
shout out
and
to
B-roll,
your guy.
B-roll is usually shot maybe after the initial
Right,
scenes, and it's
right.
extra footage, and that's
Yeah.
where
The only B-roll I
throw
had
other
for them
stuff
was
in.
just slow-mo stuff of like people's breath being cold and yeah.
That was wild because he
I'd like
had
to
a
see that in
fog
the video.
machine, but it
Yeah.
froze up.
Yeah, the
So-
fog machine, like, it
wow, it
was
must
so
have been really
too
cold.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
it
was. It was. Oh, and then we had all those stupid little heaters that like was not safe to have plugged into like.
Oh,
that was
geez.
bad.
That sounded like a fun shoot.
Yeah.
That would have been cool to see the barn light on fire in the music
Yeah.
video.
It was
Heather
it was tiring,
Yeah.
but
She
because
wouldn't have
of
been happy.
how
Your
cold
friend
it
would have
was.
been happy.
Yeah, but
Sounds tiring.
a video like that, I think I did give them the first draft in like a couple of days because it was super easy. But then on the other hand, when there's a video that maybe it's shot over the course of a couple of days and there's a lot of different scenarios and some of it's outside and some of it's inside, and then there's a band playing, but then there's the vocalist is doing something else. Like there's like levels to how complicated like the production is, and usually it's like I try and do everything in 1 or 2 days.
Well, say what you call that type of shooting again. What it's not guerrilla
run and gun.
Run and gun.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Run
you.
and gun
Okay.
DIY basically.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's it.
I feel
Not
like
but even with the playthrough stuff, it could still be run and gun.
yeah, and as long as you have a PA system that's loud enough, or you have silent stroke heads by Remo to make them quieter, Yeah, but
So you're saying you don't even need a mixer with you, is what you're saying, I
right,
think.
you just need a powered speaker and
Interesting.
and one of these, actually, one of those dongle things.
Oh, one of the
Do you
little the cameras. Yeah,
Yeah.
to play.
the
I'm
song.
supposed to have my
The thing you
laptop.
forgot. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm supposed to have my laptop with that in it, but
Yeah.
whatever.
it's all right.
You got the phone today.
But yeah, so there's the complexity and how much time goes into these things is so across the board that, like, in the amount of time that it took me to shoot and edit his video, that was like half the time it took just to shoot that other video that I mentioned where I was sick.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's always different.
So I mean, you're saying it's full time for you. So how long would it take you to shoot normally a video? Like there's just one night then?
That was like, I mean, from first shot to the end, and
Like
I mean, it was 6
8
hours.
hours. 6 hours.
Probably.
Yeah.
6 hours, but it was like a lot of the first 2 hours was just us figuring, like, the generator
How to get the
wasn't
generator
really working. I'll just say it wasn't working, not that he didn't know how to use it.
I didn't know how to use
funny. Is that how a lot of your videos have been over the years? It's a 6-8 hour and you're done and then you're editing for a week, or like
Yeah.
what's really
Mhm.
interesting?
Yep,
Gosh,
6 to 8 hours. Did you think it was a lot more?
I'm just used to. I've been on film sets,
Mhm.
even TV shows. We do multiple takes, unless it's quote unquote live to tape, which is kind of like run and gun, but for
Yeah.
video,
Mhm.
which means it just goes the way it is, unless you edit little mistakes out.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah.
You'll have 10 takes to do a scene.
Yeah. I mean,
More even.
well, for their video, we did. I mean, this is pretty standard too. Like, for anybody that's, and maybe it isn't even super standard, because, like I said, some of the stuff I do
For music videos, maybe.
for music videos, it's definitely. But like, we probably did a total of, I don't know, maybe 16 takes, which is like pretty. I found is like kind of like the amount that I need to really kind of have as much variety as I need. But we do those takes, but it's like Joe isn't needed for all the takes. Like, he's in the front, so like if I'm shooting anything, if I'm shooting the drummer, I'm shooting the guitarist. Joe, even if he's in that shot, he's not in the frame, so he can sit out. So it's like,
What is he doing then? Holding the mic or just...
Twiddling my thumbs.
yeah, twiddling his thumbs,
Oh.
taking behind this, like, it's like, yeah, taking a break, whatever. It's like, it's 6 to 8 hours typically for a performance video, but not everybody is like going at it the whole time, except
Oh.
me
Okay.
and the drummer. Actually, me and
the drummer pretty much
the
was in
drummer
every
usually
shot.
has to be in every shot, unless
Okay.
we do like straight individual shots, which we did for your video. But
Yeah.
Well, I want to, before I forget, I want to, because we're almost over with the show already. That one, I'm just so into it. It went by really fast. First of all, say your name again. Where do we find you?
Alex Zarek. You can find me on all the social media stuff. I think all of them are pretty.
You better
much the
spell
same.
it. ALEX.
Yeah, ALEX, Z like zebra, AREK. Alex
Got it.
Zarek. And oh yeah, I'm glad you brought this up, because I was gonna say, if there are any people that are watching this that are just hearing about me or hearing about my work or whatever, if you hit me up because of this podcast, we could do some sort of a discount for the next project.
Oh, that'd be great.
Or for your first project or
Everybody
something.
call Alex or
Yeah,
email him, whatever.
It doesn't have to
Facebook
be,
him.
It doesn't have to be a music video. It could be like a photo shoot or something like that. But I wanted to offer something specifically for like your guys' audience.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
So-
Thank you, Alex.
So
Appreciate that.
just hit me up.
Thanks.
Yeah, hit me up and say that you heard about me from this.
We're going to do a quick photo shoot with. We like to take pictures with the guests.
Oh, I
when
love
we're
that.
done, but that's different. We want a little more formal one too for the show. But
I love
anyway,
that.
thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Nice meeting you.
I could have talked for another hour, but
Yeah, well, we do have 2 shows, but
Yeah.
not this week.
Yeah.
So we'll have to have you back.
I would love to.
when we
We're just scratching the surface.
when you
Heck
want to
yeah.
promote another video you're doing, or
Yeah.
something happened at Bottom Lounge we got to promote. So again, thanks for being here, Alex.
Thank you so much.
again, Joe, for being with us, and of course, Libby. I am Mario J. Bell. You can find us, of course, on IntellectualRadio.com, all of the social medias, and all of the podcast sites under either Bell & Company or IntellectualRadio.com. Everybody take care, and I'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.